Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very last episode of Joe Knows, the 2021 NFL Draft Class. I saved my favorite team for last, the Giants. That's the draft class we're reviewing tonight to wrap up this 32-part series. Now, if you're wondering, hey, Joe, the draft was months ago. Why are you doing this now? It's because I only joined Toilets to Titles just a few months ago and was trying to come up with an idea, something I could easily talk about. And I read up a lot on the draft leading up to the draft for like 3 months leading up to the draft. Read up on so many players. I'm like, I have all this knowledge. Instead of talking to the wall, talking to myself in the car, I'll put myself out there with this content. I'll pump out a lot of content, 32 videos over roughly 32 days. I think I actually did it in like 30 days, but kudos to me. But anyway, so I'm getting this wrapped up. That's why I'm doing it now. Just wanted to get something out there. Wanted to contribute. I'm a contributor. That's what Joe is. That's what I'm doing here. So anyway, before we go on to the content and the bells and whistles, how to watch the show, special shout out to people who are Giants fans just like I am. And these people are my personal friends. We're starting with John L., who was, I think, the reason why I became a Giants fan. I think he got me to the Giants. Ronnie, the brothers Matt and Dave, Hugh, Jim, Scott, Andrew, John G., Jay, Don, Steve, and all great Giants fans around the world. I left the last names out for anonymity purposes, of course. But anyway, you see your names if you see this video, and if you see your name down there, blue ticker, if I just gave you the shout out, you can probably figure out who you were. Kudos to all you. This is dedicated to you guys, all my friends who are Giants fans. If I left anyone out, I apologize. Anyway, where you can find the show before we get into our draft content, where can you find the show? toiletsandtitles.com is our website. We just launched it August 1st. It's great. Check it out. We have all of our videos there. We've got articles. We're putting up more articles every week. And we have tons of NFL content and fantasy football content. So it's like one-stop shopping for football, guys. Go and check it out. It's a lot of fun. Where you can view our show, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, and Facebook, where we have two pages, Toilets to Titles. And the second one is When a Family Breaks, which is our page that's dedicated to the trading of sports memorabilia. Okay, moving on. Hit and like that subscribe button, please. It helps us out a lot. Really greatly appreciate it. If you're on Apple, if you can give us that a 5-star Apple review, that helps us out a lot too. Even if you're not on Apple, say you're sitting on the toilet for like 30 seconds or 30 minutes, just take 30 seconds, go over to Apple, give us that 5-star Apple review. We deserve it. We're a great bunch of guys. And last but not least, you want to go to patreon.com/toilets to to learn how you can further support the show. Anyway, moving on to our content. Our New York Giants, the team that I love so much, the team that you love so much, had 6 picks this year, including 2 6-rounders. And they had a great trade back that I absolutely loved, where we traded back from the 11th pick to the 20th pick. If that trade offer had been made to me as the general manager of the Giants, if that had been made to me by the Bears before the draft even started, I would have taken it. So I think the Giants really need draft capital. And by that time, the players that I really wanted were gone. There were still lots of good players there they could have taken, and I wouldn't have blamed them if they stood pat and took someone with the 11th pick. That's okay. I would have gotten it, but I think this is the right thing to do, especially how the first 10 picks developed. I love what they did with the trade back, and the theme. I try to notice a theme with every team's draft class this year. Some teams have focused on defense. Some teams seem to focus on offensive line. With the Giants, they got playmaker. They got some playmakers, don't get me wrong, but the theme was defense, which I was totally cool with. They got help at the edge and got help in the secondary with 2 new cornerbacks. 2 edges, 2 cornerbacks, both were needed. First of all, edge has been definitely a big area of weakness for us for the past few years in terms of pass rush. And then we added depth to the secondary. So what we've added with the secondary with this draft class and what we added in free agency, I think we have a chance for our secondary to be an elite secondary this year as a unit. I think our defense is going to be good, but I think the secondary itself could wind up being like a top 3 secondary, maybe top 5. But I think they've got a real legitimate chance to be an elite secondary this year. Really excited to see that happen. Okay, Kadarius Tony, we took him with the 20th pick overall in the first round. This is our first pick. Kadarius Tony, wide receiver out of Florida, otherwise known as the human joystick, and he is called that for a reason. This guy makes people, he literally, a defender in college, I think it was last year, broke his ankle just on his own trying to basically cover Kadarius Tony. Kadarius Tony basically juked this guy out of his own friggin' ankle. Crazy to see, but it's true. And this guy is just like that. He is really hard to bring. He's hard to get your hands on. He's not blazing speed, but he's got good speed. He's super, super shifty. He's not easy to bring down. He's not like, a guy who's going to blow over in the wind, one-arm tackle, nothing like that at all. Now, the thing is that this guy needs more time. I'm limiting my expectations for Kadarius Tony this year. I think they're going to use him, and I think he's definitely going to have value. But I think his real value is going to come next year after he's had a year of experience in the NFL under his belt. But I'm really looking forward to seeing Kadarius Tony, what he can do. Originally, when he was the pick, I was kind of like, what, Kadarius Tony? Because I was thinking there were some other wide receivers I would have taken ahead of him. But, within a few seconds, I was just like, you know what? Actually, he fits in the offense very, very well. In that we just added Galladay this offseason. We've got Shepard, we've got Ingram, we've got Barkley, and we have Darius Slayton also on the outside. He actually fits very well. This guy is meant to be played. He's not just this, but he is meant to be used in trick plays. This is a guy you can show, you could toss him the ball behind the line of scrimmage or 3 yards, beyond the line of scrimmage, and he can make things happen. He's legitimate that way. So it's gonna be exciting to see. He needs development. He needs development. He needs more time. And but I think he could be something really special for the Giants. So I think it's a cool pick. Let's see how it goes with Tony. But I do like him, and I eventually pretty quickly came around to actually liking the pick. Okay, moving on. Azeez Ojulari, edge, Georgia, 18th pick in the second round. 6'2", 249 pounds. This guy was a friggin' steal in the second round. This guy had first round value written all over him. I wouldn't have taken him with the 11th pick if he stayed. I think that was too high. This was a good edge and pass rusher class in terms of depth. It was not top heavy. Okay. But once you got past the middle of the first round into the back of the first round, that's when these guys kind of started flying off the board. And Ojulari was a good pick for the Giants, not just because they needed help on the edge, but also because he's a good fit for what they want to do. He's a versatile player. This guy, he's a very athletic edge, as I say in my notes here. In 2020 alone, he had 12.5 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles in only 10 starts. And this is against top talent. And remember, George is going up against top talent all the time. Those are very impressive numbers for 10 games. And he did well the year before that too, but his last season in 2020, very, very good, very impressive. And this guy, he's an explosive edge rusher. He does get to the quarterback. He actually reminds me of O.C. Umenyiora. His specialty was pass rushing, and he was also a master at stripping the ball from the quarterback. And I think Ojulari, with his four forced fumbles in 10 starts alone last year, I think he's got that in him. So, and not every edge rusher does that. And Ojulari does that. He's going to be doing that, I believe. And just like OC did that. He was a master at that. This guy, he's not exactly an edge that that's going to hold the edge against the running game, but he's very good at pursuing the running back. So he's good. I think he's young. I think he's 20 years old. He might have just turned 21. So this guy still has, more growth coming in terms of his body. I'm not saying his height, but his frame is going to add more muscle over the next few years. This guy still has a lot of growing to do so, and he's a high character guy. I like that on my New York Giants. I like high character guys, just like Barkley, just like Jones, just like a lot of the other guys on this team right now. And that's what we got with Azeez Ojulari. This guy easily, again, he could have went in the first round, somewhere in the first round, say like the middle of the first round, in the end of the first round. No one would have blinked an eye because he was worth that. We got him in the second round, and we traded back again in the second round, and we still got him. I think it was with the 50th pick overall. And so what great value, man. Great value. I love it. Absolutely love it. Moving on to our third round pick, the 7th overall pick in that round, Aaron Robinson. And I had to practice this because I'm always calling this guy Cam Robinson, who's the running back for the Los Angeles Rams, who, by the way, is, I think, done for the year with an Achilles injury, if I recall correctly, but I think he's done for the year. But I'm always calling him Cam Robinson. There are too many Robinsons in the leagues, just like too many Elijahs. I keep calling Elijah Moore, the wide receiver in the Jets. I keep calling him Elijah Mitchell, who's a running back on the 49ers. They both came out in this draft class. And there shouldn't be any other Elijahs. There's only one. It's Elijah Manning. That's it. He's the only Elijah. They should retire the name from the NFL. No other player can have the name Elijah. I'm telling you right now. And there's too many Robinsons. But anyway, ours is Aaron Robinson. This was another really good pick. We actually traded up in the third round to get him where we did. This is a guy who actually had serious second round value in him. He's a very good cornerback. He's press man, which I like. The Giants last year were playing zone defense in their secondary. They're playing zone in the secondary because out of necessity. They've added a lot of talent to that secondary this year, and I believe they're going to be playing man coverage, otherwise known as press, where the secondary, the cornerback is basically glued to the receiver from the get-go and being physical with him at the line. And that's what Patrick Graham, our defensive coordinator, actually likes to run. And I think that's what we're going to see this year. I'm excited to see that. And Aaron Robinson could be a big component of that. I don't think he's been on the field just yet because I think he's dealing with some sort of injury. I don't think it's major, but it's probably, I think that it's going to slow down him getting onto the field as a starter. But we already have he's projected to be a slot corner. And we already had a good one from last year's draft in Darnay Holmes, but he's more of a zone guy. Robinson's again, a press man. And I think eventually he's going to take over that spot. But whatever, with him and Holmes, that's great versatility, great depth. And Holmes had a really good rookie year last year. I love Darnay Holmes. But Aaron Robinson might wind up being better in terms, and also giving the Giants what they want in terms of how they want to run things on the defense. So he's also someone who's very fully capable, if he reaches his true potential, to wind up being an outside cornerback too. So I don't think this guy's ever going to be like a stud cornerback, like a shutdown number one. But I think his ceiling, some real legitimate potential for Aaron Robinson, is to be eventually a CB2 on the outside. But if not, he's going to be really good on the interior. The guy plays the run well. He's physical. 5'11", 186 pounds. I'd say it's a little small for a cornerback, but the guy's ripped. He's a built dude. I'm like most football players, but I think he looks bigger on film or on video or on TV than he actually reads and his numbers read. But he's a solid dude. He is versatile. He gets his hand in the thick of things. He goes after a running back. I like this guy a lot. He covers very well, guys. We got really good help here in the secondary. You're going to be happy with Aaron Robinson. I absolutely believe that. Okay, sleeper alert on this next pick. Okay, now Ellerson Smith, 4th round, the 11th pick overall in the 4th round, edge out of Northern Iowa. When you're taking a player from smaller schools, they need to show dominance against the competition that they face. It's not like he was going against SEC competition. He's from a smaller program. This dude is 6'6", 252 pounds. He is long. I don't have the length of his arms down here in the blue bars, but this guy is long. He's very long, and he's quick. He's athletic. He's explosive off the snap, and he's strong. This guy added something like 60 pounds worth of muscle in college, and he's going to add more. And this guy he's a 4th round pick out of a small school. He could wind up being nothing. It's possible that could happen. I think his floor is actually really good depth for our team. Really good, at least a good guy who can, come in on obvious pass rush situations and help out. But I think he also has the chance to be a starter. I think he's got a legitimate shot down the road to develop into being a starting edge, like a real stud for us, a real stud pass rusher. The guy last year he took the COVID exemption last year. In 2019, he had 5 forced fumbles, 21.5 tackles for loss, 14 sacks in 15 games. If you don't know, those numbers are tremendous. Now, again, that was against smaller conference. It wasn't the SEC, but you want to see that dominance. So he at least brings that. So he had nice numbers in 2018 too. So much potential with this guy. He's strong and he's quick. I'm looking forward to seeing him develop over the next few years. Okay, Gary Brightwell, running back out of Arizona, 12th pick overall in the 6th round. I will freely admit I did not know who this guy was when they drafted him, and I knew many of the players. I didn't know Brightwell. I'm impressed with what I've read up on him. I'm impressed with the video that I've seen on this guy. He's a really nice size, 5'11", 218 pounds. The thing is that Arizona, the Wildcats in Tucson, are not the best football program. They're not horrible, but they're not bad. They're not great. And the running game's not great. They were spreading out the snaps to quite a few running backs. Brightwell was the starting running back last year. The guy's got a lot of potential. I like it a lot, and it's a 6th round pick. He's already a special teams stud. He comes out of college football being a special teams player, a really good one. But I'll tell you, I think he can wind up being a really good third option at running back for us, and maybe the number 2 eventually running back for us. He's got nice size, good vision. He bursts through the hole. He's got good balance. He's not easy to bring down, and he's got receiving skills. Not that he was a receiving expert. It's not like this guy had 500 yards receiving last year out of the backfield, but he is a smooth receiver. He knows what he's doing. He's good. So I think he brings a lot of potential. I like him a lot. And last but not least, our last pick is Darius Wayne, cornerback out of Oklahoma State. This guy I was very familiar with. Why? Because I was reading up on players and players and players for like 3 or 4 months leading up to the draft, leading up to draft day. And I had kept my eye on this guy for the Giants in case they wanted to get more secondary help in the back end of the draft. And this is probably the guy that I had my eye on for the back end rounds. And they took him. I'm really happy they did. It sounds like he's doing so well right now in training camp. Not that this guy's going to be a starter anytime soon, but I believe he has the legitimate, not pie in the sky, but legitimate ceiling to be a starting cornerback on this team down the road. Okay. He's got nice size for a cornerback. He's 6 foot, 189 pounds. I'd say maybe, okay, a little on the small side, but not much. I mean, it's not like these guys are safeties, they're cornerbacks. He's got decent size. He's a physical cornerback who plays man, aka press man. He plays man coverage, and so he's up in the receiver's grill, trying to stick with him like glue. That's what I like, and that's what this guy does. He's a good tackler. And I said down here, possible steal. I really feel strongly this guy's going to be a real steal. And even if he doesn't wind up being a starting cornerback down the road, he is a 6th round pick after all. I think he's got. I'd be surprised if his floor wasn't very good backup cornerback. And in the secondary, you always get so many injuries. You need depth. At any position, you need depth, but especially in secondary, especially since this is a pass-heavy league these days, you need depth in the secondary. And Darius Wayne, I think, is going to be a big part of that depth rush for a long time. I really do. I love the pick. I thought this was such a really well-constructed draft class for our Giants. Going forward, we're still going to need more help on the offensive line. We're going to need more help, more talent from the edge rushing position. We're not a complete team. I do believe that we can get 9 wins and that we will get 9 wins, and I think we should. I think we're ready to take that step to having a winning record, and I'd be very happy with 9 wins. I really would, and I think we're going to do it. I really do. But anyway, guys, that's it. Darius Wayne was the last player I covered for this 2021 draft class review. Before you go, please, there's like 12 of us here at Toilets and Titles. If you could follow here are the Twitter handles. If you could follow them all, that'd be great. I work with a great bunch of guys, such a fun crew, and we try to really make our content a lot of fun for you. We're putting out more and more, especially now that the NFL season's upon us in September. I mean, starting now, but in September, it's really going to amp up where we're putting out more and more and more videos and articles, both NFL and fantasy football content. Check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so forward looking to the rest of this year, guys. And last but not least, just a friendly reminder, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell, and give us that 5-star Apple review because we deserve it. Anyway, guys, it's been real. I've really enjoyed doing this series. It's given me a lot of good experience for podcasting for the first time, the ins and outs of doing quite a few things. I've learned a lot. So anyway, thanks for checking in on this episode. Thanks for checking in on the series. I hope you enjoyed it because I really enjoyed doing it. But anyway, I will see you soon with new and different content. Love you all and peace. Take care, everyone.